Conditional rendering. VIF. The directive VIF is used to conditionally render a block. The block will only be rendered if the directive expression returns a truthy value. So if awesome is truthy, then you'll see this in the screen, this title, this thing rendered. VElse, you can use the VElse directive to indicate an else block for VIF. Button click awesome changes the truthiness of this. We have a toggle button, then we have an h1 which renders if this is truthy, else if this is falsy renders this thing. So if we go here and go into our playground, well, we don't have the template here, so we always need a template. We have this awesome starts as undefined basically because we don't have a script. But if we do, well, we have to import ref from view, I think. I don't think we need to import ref here inside the setup. We have const awesome is a ref with value initial value true. All right, ref is not defined. We do have to import ref here from view. Or we have to, no, wait. Ref is not defined. Import ref from, oh my god, import ref from view. There you go. View is awesome. If we click here, now awesome is true because we decide so here. If I click this button toggle, if I click here, then awesome is gonna become not true, so false. And if awesome is false, we'll see this rendered in virtue of this VElse statement. So, and then we can keep on doing that because it's just toggling the value of awesome. All right. I hope this is very easy to understand and clear. I just hate that there is not an auto format here. Maybe, let me try. No, it doesn't work. I tried a shortcut, but no, there is no auto format. Well, we also have this thing here. A VElse element must immediately follow a VIF or a VElseIf element, otherwise it will not be recognized. So what happens if we just don't have this thing here? There is a syntax error. Okay. VElseIf. The VElseIf, as the name suggests, serves as an else-if block. For VIF, it can also be chained multiple times. So we can have VIF type equal A, else VIF type equals C, else VIF type equals B, C, or VElse, neither of them. Similar to VElse, a VElseIf element must immediately follow a VIF or a VElseIf element. All clear. VIF on template. Because VIF is a directive, it has to be attached to a single element. But what if we want to toggle more than one element? In this case, we can use VIF on a template element, which serves as an invisible wrapper. The final render result will not include the template element. So this. VElse and VElseIf can also be used on template. vShow. Another option for conditionally displaying an element is the vShow directive. The usage is largely the same. The difference is that an element with vShow will always be rendered and remain in the DOM. vShow only toggles the display CSS property of the element. vShow doesn't support the template element, nor does it work with VElse. So VIF toggles the rendering or not rendering of the element, and vShow just toggles the display property of the element. but it still renders it. Or it still renders it in the DOM. It stays there. VIF versus VShow. VIF is real conditional rendering because it ensures that event listeners and child components inside the conditional block are properly destroyed and recreated during toggles. VIF is also lazy. If the condition is false on initial render, it will not do anything. The conditional block won't be rendered until the condition becomes true for the first time. In comparison, VShow is much simpler. The element is always rendered regardless of initial condition with CSS-based toggling. Generally speaking, VIF has higher toggle costs, while VShow has higher initial render costs. So prefer VShow if you need to toggle something very often, and prefer VIF if the condition is unlikely to change at runtime. So if we had this button and we want to click this button many times, we probably want to use VShow here, like this maybe. VIF with V4. It is not recommended to use VIF and V4 on the same element due to implicit precedence. Refer to the style guide for details. When VIF and V4 are both used on the same element, VIF will be evaluated first. See the list rendering guide for details. Okay, let's continue in a second.